Hello everyone, welcome to my first video that I plan on uploading later today on Introduction to Excel. Today I'll be going over a couple basic formulas in Excel, formatting, adding, subtracting, as well as going over some intermediate level functions such as Vlookup, if statements, Countifs, Sumifs, pivot table. I will not be going over in too much detail on the intermediate functions. I will create other videos later to go over those. This video is just a basic understanding of how Excel works, and hopefully it'll help you in your career like it did mine. First, I would like to talk about formatting. Formatting is very basic level in Excel, but I feel is very important, especially if you are giving reports to upper management or even for yourself. Making it look good is always a key factor for me. If I go to sheet 2, you can see a bunch of random data that I have uploaded in here. With that, in order to start formatting, we want to highlight this whole table. You could do this in two different ways. You could either click onto the A2, the top left part of your table, and highlight everything down to D12. Or if you would click into any part of your data, if it does not have a break, click Control A, and this will highlight everything in your table faster. From here, I like to center my data. So if we go into this Home tab and click on this icon here, Align Middle, it will automatically align everything to the middle from in the rows. And then click Align Center, and that will align everything to the center of the cell. From here, I would like to also add borders. From here, we would like to do all borders, and that will highlight everything in here with lines. Next step is to highlight the label column or the title column. From here, I like to use a dark blue color with a white font. Bold, and there you go. That is the simplest way to format your data. Next, I would like to talk about adding. Adding is a very simple function in Excel, and it should be very second nature to you once you get used to some of the functions in Excel. So from here, let's create a column here that says adding column A and B. So from here, as you can see, some of the formatting is not the same. In order to fix this, all we have to do is highlight any one of the columns, click on this Format Paintbrush, and just highlight down. From here, just double click to the right of the cell, and it will automatically auto width. For adding, there's a couple different ways we could do this. We could either do a equals sum function with open parentheses, and then we would highlight the columns that we want to add, then close parentheses, and hit enter. Or we can hit the equal sign again, put in the values ourselves, 1 plus 10, and press enter and get 11. Now, let's say we want to use a different value that is not on a table. From here, we would just click equals, click on the value we want. So A plus, let's use this F1 value, and press enter at 23. from here, if we highlight down, it should take the column A data and add it to the F1 data. As you can see, in this function, it did not work. This is because when you drag down the formula in cell E4, it took F2 instead of F1. Now, if we want to keep this consistent, all we have to do is take this F2 function and hit F4 in our keypad. A money symbol to be added in front of both of our values. So in front of F and in front of 2. And don't forget, we want this to be at F1. So hit enter, and there you go. Now, when you drag down the value formula, it will automatically keep that F1 value. However, it will add to the A5 or A6, A7 cell. Another way to use this addition formula, we could just click on this auto sum function. The auto sum function would add every row to the left of it into the cell E3. However, since C and D columns do not have values we want to add, all we have to do is drag this formula down to the 2 columns we want and just hit enter, and there you go. And we could just again drag down, and there you go. Next is subtraction. Because subtraction, multiplication, division are all similar functions, I'll just go ahead and go through it. So let's do subtracting, multiplying, and divide. Again, we will click on the column that we want to format it with, click on this paintbrush, and then highlight over, and there you go. And then I would like to use this where I just do minus. Let's click on A3, minus B3, enter, and you get -9. Let's do equals 1 asterisk B3, enter, and then let's do 1 divided by 10. There you go. From here, all we have to do is highlight and drag down, and there you go. There you go. Another way to make it faster, if we did delete this, instead of dragging down, we could just highlight and wait for this plus symbol to appear in the bottom right hand corner, and then double click, and it will automatically highlight what we need and drag it all the way down. Next, we're going to go over Vlookup. Vlookup basically looks at a table, compares it to the value you want, and then brings back what it says in the table that you would like. For example, if I were to use Vlookup, let's first put, let's say numbers to copy column A. So let's say we want to bring back the value, or to look the value 3, and bring back whatever is in column B. So for instance, let's put A here, and then value B. So when we're doing a VLOOKUP, I am anticipating that I would return the value 12. So from here, we would do equals VLOOKUP, open parentheses. We want to look up the value J3, so we click on J3, comma, and then let's indicate which table we want to look up. Let's highlight this whole table. So we will do a comma after that, From here, let's indicate which column we want a value to come back. This will be, A will be column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we want column B, so we're going to add number 2, and then comma, and then we would indicate if we want exact match, which we do, so we would click in here false, and then close parentheses and hit enter. And there you go, we get 12. Now let's say we want the value in color 1. So like I said, we just do column 3. Green, there you go. I would like to mention that when you do these formulas, that the table or the value that you want to match has to be the very first column. Now from here, this is a very powerful function because if you're looking at data that is 100,000 lines, it is going to be very difficult to comb through the data, especially if you want to return multiple values. So for instance, if we want to put random numbers here, then we would just drag this down, and it makes it so much easier to determine what value is associated to each column A. As you can see, this value 12 says NA for column B. This is because 12 is not shown in column A. So like I said, this is an easy way to know if a value is in the table and to bring back the value that we would like. If statements. If statements is another very powerful formula. If statements can be combined with multiple different formulas to get the value that you would like. In this case, we'll just do a very simple if statement just to determine how it works. And then later, I'll create other videos to let you know some of the more complicated if statements that we could perform that you could use in your job. So from here, we would just do equals if, open parentheses, okay, a logic test. So let's say I want to know if A3 equals J3. In this case, we could see already that they do equal. From here, comma, okay, if it is true, what do we want this cell to say? Let's say that we wanted to say, give me the value K3. If not, comma, if not, what do we want it to say? We want it to say no, so we would do open parenthesis or open quotation marks, no, and then close quotation marks, and then close parentheses, and hit enter. In this case, it is equals, like we said, and it brought back K3. Now let's drag it down to say if A4 equals A5. In this case, it doesn't, so I'm anticipating it to say no. There you go. And then we go all the way down. And we have no's and some greens and reds. And there you go. Countifs. Countifs formula is another formula that is very powerful. And actually, you could add it to an if statement. In this case, we'll just do a very simple countif statement, and we will then create a video later to go over the more complicated functions of countifs. So countifs. Countifs basically takes a criteria and then counts how many times it occurred. So based off of that, we could do equal countifs, open parentheses. All right, so first is criteria range 1. So we want to highlight the criteria that we want. So if we want to have this as our criteria range, A, and then comma, what is our criteria? Okay, we want to be able to count all the rows that have the number 6. So let's enter 6 with our quotation marks. And then from here, we want to close parentheses. Now here, we saw that is 1. Now, if we want to add more criteria for this situation, all we have to do is put comma again, and then let's do column B, and let's say we want our criteria to have in column A 6, and then in column B to be 15. Quotation marks between the 15s, and then enter. And it's still 1. Now, let's say we say 16. How many are there with column A6 and then column B16? 0. So let's try another one. Let's do Countifs column C, and let's say we want it to count all the greens as well as in column B, it has to have red. And we get 1. So let's see if that's correct. Green, red, 1. Green, yellow, no. Green, blue, no. So there you go. Next one, Sumifs. So Sumifs is exactly like Countifs, but it will sum your data instead of counting your data. So in this case, you take your criteria, you do equal, and you do Sumifs, open parentheses. Now we want to sum, let's say, column A, comma, and then criteria range. So we want to say everything in column C, if it equals, so comma, if it is green, I want you to count column A, or sum column A. So let's see, 18. Okay, so let's see. So you have here green, 3, 6, 9. 9 plus 6, 15 plus 3, 18. And there you go. Simple. And now pivot tables. Pivot tables are an easy way to organize data that you already have. So from here, like I said, click onto your data, Control A, and then hit Insert, and then you hit Pivot Table. From here, we will want it to do New Worksheet. Press OK. And then here, what do we want in our rows? Let's say we want numbers. So list the numbers, and then let's say colors and columns, color 1, and then let's say we want the value to be numbers 1 again. And there you go. So in this basically says in column, in number row 1, there's 1 red in column red. That to make sure that when you do your pivot tables that there is no gaps between the columns and no missing rows or columns. That will throw off your data and it will not be usable. Well, thank you for joining me in my first video. Please like and subscribe. Because this is my very first video, please bear with me. I will get better. If you had any other question in Excel or would like me to make any other type of videos, please put it down in the comment section. Thank you.